Right. Good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
After a couple of weeks after the tour, I had some problem with my mobile phone. WhatsApp was not working. Therefore, that's the reason last week I couldn't conduct the class. Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Right. Good. Right. We were doing programming. Last time we stopped in this place, I think. We did selection out of many options. So the example was using a dice. When we toss the dice and we get some values 1 to 6, it may be sometimes 1, it may be sometimes 2, right? Likewise, we have to select those options. So how do we represent that thing in programming? So we did this flow chart, right? I'll tell you again. So we start here, toss the dice, this is process, and then get the value. Toss the dice and get the value from user, right? There are so many options. It can be 1, it can be 2, up to 6. There are possibilities. How we represent those possibilities in flowchart is like this. Is the value is 1, then if it is yes, we show the value as 1. This is the output, right? If it is not, that means else. Else means it is not 1, right? Then we check whether the value is 2. Then is the value is 2, then if it is yes, then show the value as 2, right? If it is not 2, right, then we check whether it is 4, whether it is 3, 4. I didn't mention this because the space is not enough. Likewise, we check whether it is 2, whether it is 3, and whether it is 4, right? Finally, we check whether the value is 5, right? If it is yes, show the value as 5, right? Finally, if it is not 5, that means there is only one option. That means if it is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then there is one option, that is show the value as 6, right? Then we go to the end and stop our program, right? Whether you go in this way, we have to stop the program. Therefore, we link this path to the end. That's how we do the flow chart for this selection out of many options, right? Selection out of many options. Do you have any questions regarding this flow chart? Any questions? Anyone else? Is it clear or not? Today I am not able to use
Yes,
the
sir.
right. Okay. Right, then we are going to map this one to our Scratch program, right? How we represent this kind of thing in our Scratch program, selection out of many options, right? What kind of block we use in Scratch program to represent this kind of thing? So tell me this kind of selection, how we represent in Scratch. Right, okay. How we represent the selection in Scratch. What is the code? Block of code what we use. මොකද පාවිච්චි කරන code block එක selection එකක් represent කරන්න. Tell me. You have done this in school, eh? දැනගන්න ඕනේ. Election. Yes. Sandeep. How we represent this selection in a scratch? Ivetya?
Yes, sir.
How? Connelly? How? I want and ask. How we represent selection in scratch? Selection is like this. Selection is like this. If this condition is true, if it is yes, do something, right? If it is no, do something else. This is a selection. How we represent in scratch? What is the block of code that we use? මොකද්ද පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ? හරි. ස්ක්‍රැච් ඕනේ නැහැ. මෙහෙම කියන්නකෝ. මේක අපි ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් කියන්නේ කොහොමද? If this is true, do something. This part is what? If not means, if this is not means, in English, else, right? Else. If this is true, do something else, we do something else, right? So, මම දැන් උදව්වක් කරා දැන් බ්ලොක් එක දැනගන්න ඕන. මොකද්ද ස්ක්‍රැච් එක පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ? Yes.
If else,
Right. If else, if else block, right? We represent selection from the scratch by if else block, right? Therefore, we have to use if else, if else, if else, right? That is how we represent. Let's see how we represent this one in scratch, right? අපි බලමු මේ කොහොමද scratch වලින් කරන්නේ කියලා. හොඳ මතක තියාගන්න selection එකක් අපි if else එකෙන් තමයි represent කරන්නේ scratch වල. මොකද මේක condition. If the condition is true, do something else, do something else, right? If the condition is true, so we have to check some condition, right? If this is true, do something else, do something else, right? We'll do in scratch, right? It is better if you can do this with me from the scratch, right? Okay. First of all, we have to start right? Start the program. Then we have to display a message to toss the dice, right? Dinara, we are discussing the selection out of many options. We did the flowchart and we are going to map flowchart into Scratch program, right? We start the program. Then when we want to display a message, only a message, we have to use say command, right? Say toss the same way we did in flowchart. We map same thing into Scratch, right? Toss the dice. This is the second step in our flowchart, right? Then we are going to get some input from the user. We are going to get some input from the user. So we give a command to toss the dice, and then we are expecting input from the user. What is the block we are going to use here? Ask command. So remember in sensing, you have to use ask. The importance of this ask command is when we use ask command block in Scratch, the user can input some value, right? User can input some value, right? Here we can display a message. What is the value? What is the value, right? So when the user see this message, he can input some value, right? That is the importance of this ask command. User can input some value, right? Now, when the user input this value, we have to check. We have to check whether it is 1, whether it is 2, whether it is 3, 4, or 5, right? According to the input value, we have to display. Show the value as 1, 2, 3, 5, or 6, right? That is our program, right? Ask the value, and when the user input that value, right? When the user inputs some value, we have to store that value in somewhere, right? So what should we do now? Store the value? What we should create? We have to create something to store the value. අපි මේ user input කරන value එක store කරන්න temporarily තැනක් තියාගන්න ඕනේ. What is that? What we need to create? What we need to create? Can you see this screen? What we need to create? When the user input some value, we have to store that value, right? Store that value in somewhere temporarily. What we should create? We should create a variable. Variable. Can you remember the variables? Right? Variable is the thing that is used to hold a value temporarily. Therefore, we have to go to variables right? Then we want to create our own variable, make a variable. I will name this as value. You can give any name that you want, right? Now, in the second stage, user is giving some answer. Therefore, we have to store that answer in somewhere, right? I am going to store that answer in my value variable. So therefore, I will use this block set the variable I have created this value, set value. So what I am going to set is a answer. Drag this one and put here. So what will happen in this block? From this block, the user answer will put into this value variable. It will store in this place. So see here, when I create this variable, it will display like this value and initial value is 0, right? In right hand side, you can see. Okay. Now we have to check this value, whether it is 1, whether it is 2, 3, 5 or 6, right? Then I can use this what? If and if then else command. So there are two parts of if then block. One is simple if then, simple if then. Let's say this kind of situation. If condition is true, then do something. There is no else part. Else part is end of the program. So that kind of situation we can use this if then whole, right? But if there is else part, if there is else part, we have to use this if then else block. If then else block. Right. Now I am going to check one by one. Right. If the value is 1, we have to do something. From the operators, I want to check. I want to check the value is equal to 0. Right. Value is equal to 0. Therefore, I will use this block. Right. Here, I have to check the value variable. I have to set the value variable. I want to check whether this value is equal to 1. Right. If the value is equal to 1, right, what we should do? We should display a message. We should display a message. Then we have to say we can display this message. Size value is 1. You can type any kind of message. Size value is 1. If the value is equal to 1, we have display the dice value is 1, right? What we should do in else part is if the value is not 1, then we have to check whether the value is 2, right? Whether the value is 2. Therefore, from the control, right, we have to put another if then else because, right, we have to check another thing here, right? Here in the else part, we have to check another condition. Therefore, I am using another block here, right? I'm using here. In that, again, I want to check whether the value is equal to, right? From the variables, the value is equal to 2. If the value is equal to 2, I am going to display, right? Dice value is 2. You can type this kind of message, right? Now, what we'll do in else part? If the value is not equal to 2, again we have to check whether the value is equal to 3. Therefore, I'll put another if then else part, right? Another if then else. In that, I want to check whether the value is equal to, right? Sorry, from the variables. So remember, you can straight away use this value variable because the user input is stored in this value variable, right? Therefore, you can use this name value variable, right? Then here we check whether the value is equal to 3. If it is 3, I am going to display a message. What? Dice value is 3, right? If it is not 3, then there is another condition we have to check whether it is 4. Therefore, I'll use, sorry, controls, another if then else. In this else part, in that, I have to check, right, whether the value is equal to 4, right? If it is 4, I am going to display a message. Dice value is 4, right? If it is not 4, I have to check whether it is 5. Therefore, I am using another if then else in this else part, right? I want to check whether, right, from the variables, I put this value variable here. I check whether it is 5, right? Whether it is 5. If it is not, sorry, if it is 5, I am going to display dice value is 5, right? This is my message if it is 5. If it is not 5, is there any option other than 6? Is there any option other than 6? අපිට මෙතන පහ නෙමෙයි නම් 6 වෙන්න ඕන. 6ක් නෙමෙයි නම් තව මොකක් හරි තියෙනවද? නෑ නේද? එහෙනම් තව එක ඔප්ෂන් එකයි තියෙන්නේ. If it is not 5, else part is, there is only else part. So we are not going to check another condition. Therefore, we are not using another if here. Why? There is only one option remaining. Therefore, straight away we can display here. If it is not 5, it should be 6. Dice value is 6. Right? Right? Shall we run this one? I'm going to run this one. Right? Here it displays toss the dice and what is the value? He is expecting this part, expecting our input value. මම දැන් මේක තන physically dice එකක් toss කරන්නේ නැහැ. මම නිකන් guess කරලා dice එකේ value එක මම guess කරලා දානවා 4 කියලා. දැන් මම මේ 4 කියලා මෙතන input එක දුන්නොත් ඔන්න බලන්න එන result එක. Right? dice value is 4. It will display dice value is 4. මෙතන display message එක පොඩ්ඩ වෙලාවක් තියන්න ඕන අපිට මේ time එක පොඩ්ඩක් increase කරන්න පුළුවන්. Time to 5 seconds. Again, I'll run this one. Toss the dice. It will wait for 5 seconds. What is the value? I'm going to display 6. Sorry, enter 6. Right? Here, dice value is 6. It will display dice value is 6. This message. That means final else path. Right? Can you do it yourself? And let me know any other questions that you have. Are you clear, students? Can you try this one and let me know if it is okay or not? This is selection out of many options. Options ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. එතනින් අපි කොහොමද මේ selection එක පාවිච්චි කරලා scratch එකෙන් if then else එක පාවිච්චි කරලා අපි program එක කරන්නේ. Do this one and let me know your result is okay or not. Your feedback. මට feedback එක text එකක් දාන්න. මේකට message එකක් දාන්න. Are you trying or not? Right, good. Only is done. This is not complex. This is simple. Huh? So only we have to use if then else block. That is how we map this flow chart into selection into programming scratch. Remember, we represent selection by if then else command, if then else blocking scratch. If then or if then else. There are two blocks, if then or if then else. So there is no if there is no else part, we use if then block. If there is else part, we use if then else block. Simply. මොනවාරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න. බය වෙන්න එපා. If you want to explain it again, let me know. පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක්වත් තියාගන්න එපා. Right. Kimitya okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. Sandeep, Sandeep done? Still doing? Vinara? ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න. සංදීප තේරුන්නේ නැහැ නේද?
තේරුණා.
මම ඉතින් සද්ද නැති තේරුන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. දිනාරා? හරි. ඉස්සරහට right. Okay. right? That is control structure is selection control structure, and we discuss selection out of many options ගොඩක් තියෙනකොට කොහොමද selection එක අපි flow chart එකේ කරන්න සහ ඒක scratch එකේ programming කරන්නේ, right? Then control structure with repetition. So what is the meaning of repetition? Some steps is doing again and again. That means repetition. For example, right? Display numbers 1 to 5, right? So this kind of things we have to repeat. If it is 1, we have to display as 1. If it is 2, we have to display as 2. Likewise, until it becomes 5, we have to display 5 times, right? Display 5 times means we are repeating that steps again and again, right? So this is how we draw a flow chart to this one. All right. Start. Right. Initially, we have to initialize the number as 1. පළවෙනිට අපි number එක 1 කියලා. මොකද මේ process අපි initialize කරනවා කියලා කියනවා. Initially number is 1, right? Then what we do? We have to check is number less or equal to 5, right? So we have to go up to 5. Therefore, we check whether it is less than or equal to 5. If it is less than 5, we have to display. If it is equal to 5, we have to display. If it is not equal to 5, that means more than 5, we have to stop the program, right? Right? Is the number less than or equal to 5, we have to display. Display number. If it is yes, right? If it is no, what we do? If it is no, that means no means the number is greater than 5. මේක no කියලා කියන්නේ is number less than or equal to 5 කියන්නේ 5 නෙමෙයි කියන්නේ we have to stop. That means end of the program, right? If it is no, we have to end the program. If it is yes, we have to display the number, right? Display the number, and we want to go to another step forward. Therefore, right, we add 1 to number. Why? And 1 to number. That is our another process. Add 1 to number. Why? Initially it is 1, right? From the beginning. Is number less than or equal to 5? Yes. Then display number. Display number is it will display as 1. Right? This is first step. Then we have to add 1 to number. Then add 1 to number is 2. Right? Again we go to this place and right, check this condition again. Why? right? Add 1 to number and check. Now our number is 2. Is number less than or equal to 5? Yes, 2 is less than or equal to 5. Then display number. Number is now 2. Right? Number is 2. Then add 1 to number. That means 2 plus 1 is 3. Now our number is 3. Again go to this step. Is number less than or equal to 5? Yes, 3 is less than 5. Then display number. This step. Right? Again add 1 to number. That means new number is now 4. Again go to this page and is number less than or equal to 5? Yes. 4 is less than or equal to 5. Less than 5. If it is yes, display number. Display number is we have to display this one. Add 1 to number. Right? Now number is 5. Again go to this place. Now number is equal to 5. Again the condition is true. Therefore, display the number. That means 5. Then again add 1 to number. That means it becomes 6. Again we go here. Is number less than or equal to 5? Now it is 6. Now it is false. Therefore, it is no. Then we go to end of the program. Right? Until it becomes 5, we have to repeat this. We have to repeat this page. We are repeating. Right? Repeating this step. That means we have to display number again and again until it becomes 5. If it becomes 6, we have to stop the program. This is kind of repetition in programming. Right? Can you write this example? Write the topic and write topic. This is our first example. Display numbers 1 to 5. Right? This is how we draw the flow chart. Initially, we initialize number to 1. Right? This is a process. Then we check the condition. If it is yes, we display number and we add 1 to number and again check the condition. Right? Again and again check the condition until it becomes 5. Right? When it comes 6, we end the program. That means this condition is not true. Right? This is a kind of repetition. Remember, in repetition, we can see the flow is going bottom to up. පහළ ඉඳන් උඩට flow එකක් යනවා නම් flow chart එක definitely there is a repetition from bottom to top. If there is a flow of direction, flow එක යනවා නම් right direction එක පහළ ඉඳන් උඩට යනවා නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් there is a repetition, right? Remember that. That means some steps are repeating. It can be one step or it can be several steps. It depends on the question, right? Understood? Any questions regarding this one? ප්‍රශ්න අහනවා. ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් දැන් අහන්න. Do you have any questions about this? No? Right. Write down this example and flow chart. right? In this stage, you are not supposed to draw the flowcharts by yourself. So the thing is, you have to understand what is happening. මේකේ වෙන දේ අනිවාර්යෙන්ම තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. මොකක්ද මේකේ වෙන්නේ කියලා. Right? That is the main point. Tell me after you finish, huh? Right. Remember to use the arrows correctly, right? If there is no arrow, this is wrong. Huh? There should be arrow. Arrowheads should be there. Otherwise, flow chart is incorrect. Right? Okay. Right? Uh, Here you have to notice something. So here you are using this kind of thing here. This is like a selection, but this is we cannot use selection here because this condition is until this condition is satisfied, we are repeating these steps, right? Arrow is going bottom to up. Therefore, this is not a selection. Remember that. This is not a selection. So this is the condition for the repetition. අපි මේක සිලෙක්ෂන් එකක් විදිහට සලකන්නේ නැහැ මෙතනදී. මොකද මේක සිලෙක්ෂන් එකක් වගේ හිතෙන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් මේක සිලෙක්ෂන් එකක් නෙමෙයි. This is the condition for the repetition. If this condition is true, we are repeating these steps. Therefore, this is not a selection. Remember that. Right? So there is repeating steps here with this condition. Right? Therefore, this is not a selection. Don't confuse that. Right? Then we are going to example 3 in the book. Right? So what is the question? Consider the marking attendance of students. If the student is present, the register is marked with 1. If the student is absent, it is marked as 0. So we are going to draw a flow chart for this one. Right? How we do this one? Begin or start. Right? All students name, right? That is our input. All student name is we get the student name. That is the input, right? Then what we should do? So now we have to check whether the student is available or not. Is the student present? When we call the student name, we have to check, right? Is the student present? Is the student available, right? If he is available, what we do? If he is available, right? So let's say if it is no, we mark as 0. That means absent. Right? Sorry. This is a process. Is the student present? If it is no, mark the register as 0. That means absent. If he is present, that means yes. Mark as 1. That means present. Now, now we have to check whether there are any more students, right? So we have to check that condition, right? Check that condition. Is there more students to call? Is there more students to call? Our students are in no other, right? Our students are in no other, right? Then, if there are more students, we have to call that student's name. If there are more students, we have to call that student's name. That means we have to repeat again. We have to go there and call that student's name, right? Again, when if it is present, mark as 1. If it is no, mark as 0, right? From here also, if he is absent, again we have to check here also. Is there any more students call, right? If there are no students call, so we have to end the program. I will explain again. Start. First we call the student name, right? Is the student present? If it is yes, mark the student as present. If it is no, mark the student as absent. That is the first step, right? Then if it is absent or present, we have to check again if there are students to call. Absent or present උනත් අපි තහනකට බලන students අපි එයා බලන්න ඕනේ ඊළඟ තව students ලා ඉන්නවද therefore we have to link this one to this place. Then we have to check this condition. Is there more students called? Is there more students called? If there is, we have to repeat this step again. If we have to call and repeat this step again and again until there are no more students. If there are no more students, we have to end the program. If there are no more students, we have to end the program. Right? Now, in this flow chart, there is repetition and selection as well. Where is the selection? Here is the selection. Why? Why I mentioned this as selection? So we have to, there are two options. Out of two options, we have to select one. When the method අපි selection control structure එකක් තියෙන්නේ මෙතෙන්දී අපිට options දෙකකින් එකක් අපි තෝරගන්න. Right? මෙතන selection එකක්. But here this is the condition for repetition. Right? If this condition is true, we do the repetition. If this is no, false, we stop the program. So therefore, this is a condition for the repetition. Make repetition එකේ condition එක. හැබැයි මේක selection එකක්. Right? Understood? Because there is a flow is going here from bottom to up. Therefore, this is the condition for the repetition. Only understand this. Don't think too much. Right? මෙන්න මෙතනදී මේ condition එක repetition එකේ condition එක. මේක අපි satisfy වෙනකම් මේ steps ටික repeat වෙනවා. We are repeating these steps. Right? But here we have to select one option out of two. මෙතන අපිට options දෙකෙන් එක path එකක් තෝරගන්න වෙනවා. Students present නම් අපි present mark කරනවා, absent නම් absent mark කරනවා. ඒක නිසා මේක selection එක. මෙතන repetition එකක් නැහැ. මෙතන හැබැයි selection එකක් නෙමෙයි, මෙතන repetition එකක්. මේ condition එක satisfied වෙනකම් මේ steps ටික repeat. Right? Write the question and draw the flow chart. Consider making attendance of students, marking attendance of students. If the student is present, the register mark is with 1. If the student is absent, it is marked. So therefore, we have to repeat these steps until all the students are over. That means all the students are called. Right. Okay, finish. Right, I will explain this one again. Right now, in this in classroom, so the teacher is calling student name. If the student is present, we have to he has to mark the register as one. If he is absent, we have to mark it as absent, right? So then again, he want to check whether there are more students. If there are more students, the process should repeat again and again. That is this flow chart, right? Start, call the student name first. That is our input, right? Then we want to check whether the is the student present, right? If the student present, mark the register as one, that means present. If the student is absent, mark the register as absent, that means zero, right? That is a one step, right? One step. Now we want to go further. We want to check, are there any more students to call? Therefore, after this step, after this step, right? We want to check, is there more students to call, right? Is there more students to call? If it's yes, if it is yes, we want to go here and call that student name, right? We want to go here and call that student name. So therefore, until this condition is satisfied, that means if there are more students, we have to repeat these steps again and again, right? If there are no more students, we have to stop the program. Simply, that is the way we represent this one in a flow chart, right? Not a big thing, right? Badly. So therefore, we can see there is a repetition. Some steps are repeating, right? The block here is repeating again and again until this condition is satisfied. Inside this block, there is a selection. When the selection there, right? Questions with these students? If yes, please let me know. I will explain it again. So you have to identify there is a repetition here. Right? Okay, finish. Right. Now we are going to see how to represent repetition in programming, Scratch programming. So we know that how to represent selection in Scratch programming. That means if then else, if then no, if then else, right? Likewise, how we represent repetition in Scratch. හරිද මේක ඉවර නම් මම ස්ක්‍රැච් එකට යන්නම්. ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද ළමයි? ක්ලියර් කරගන්න මොනවද තියෙනව නම්?
No, sir.
Right? Others?
No, sir.
Right. Okay. Right. To represent repetition, uh, we can use three types of blocks. Right. Here it is one. Right. So repeat, and we can specify the number of times to repeat. Here we can specify number of time to repeat. Right. When it is 10, so it will repeat until 10 times. So that is number of times. Repeat. Then there is another thing, repeat until. Repeat until. Repeat until. What is the meaning of this one is, we can add a condition here, right? We can add a condition here until the condition is satisfied. The block of this inside this block is repeating until this condition is satisfied. Until this condition is true. Until means if the condition is true, then it will not repeat. Until this condition is true. Until true means මේක true වෙනකම්. True වුණ ගමන් repeat වෙනක නතර වෙනවා. So therefore we can place a condition here. Right? That is repeat until. We can add a condition here. This one we can specify number of times repeat. Right? Then there is another thing, forever. Forever means it will repeating forever. It will not stop the program until we forcefully stop the program. It will repeat again and again forever. ඒක කවදාවත් නතර වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? මෙන්න මේ blocks තුන තමයි අපිට repetition එකක් represent කරන්න පුළුවන් scratch එකේදී. Right? Right. We will do some examples. First one, I am going to display numbers 1 to 10. Display numbers 1 to 10. Want to start. Right? First, we need to create a variable. I'll create a variable. Let's say A. Right? First, we set A to 1. Right? Set A to 1. Then, so I want to repeat this 10 times and display 1 to 10. Right? Display 1 to 10. Therefore, I want to repeat 10 times means, so I can specify the number of times. Therefore, we use this repeat this block 10 times or 5 times, right? I can specify number of times repeat. Let's say 5. Let's say 5, right? Then I'm going to display the value. Therefore, I can, sorry, say means display, but the value of this variable, I can directly access this variable. Therefore, I will put this variable, right? Then I want to add another one to this number. So therefore, I use change block, right? Change a by 1 means when we use this block, this will add 1 to this variable, right? Right? Then again, go to this repeat. It will repeat this until it becomes, it repeat until 5 times, right? පස් පාරක් මේක repeat කරනවා අපිට 10ක් වුණත් මෙතන ඕන වාර ගණනක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. You can specify number of times repeat. Shall we start? So it going very fast fully. Therefore, I will use this wait command here. Let's say waits 2 seconds and display, right? Here you can see the result 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. After 10, it will end the program because I have mentioned the number of time to repeat. Therefore, it will repeat only 10 times, right? Can you try this one? Set a to 1 is this variable. I set initially this to 1, right? Then I use the repeat block and I display the value of a variable, right? Then wait for 2 seconds and change a by 1 means add 1 to this variable. මේ variable එකේ තියෙන value එකට එකක් එකතු කරනවා. එතකොට මේක initially මේක 1, මෙතෙන්ට ආපු පස්සේ මේක 2 වෙනවා. ආයි මේක repeat වෙනවා, 2 display වෙනවා. දෙකට එකක් එකතු වෙනවා, මෙතන 3 වෙනවා. එතකොට variable එක 3 වෙනවා. එහෙම එහෙම මේක repeat වෙනවා 10 times. ඒක තමයි මේකේ meaning එක. Repeat 10 times. right? The same thing, or I can use repeat until block here, right? I'll remove this one. I use repeat until. Now here I can specify a condition here, right? I'll put this condition. The value of a, let's say greater than 10, right? Repeat until the value of a greater than 10. If this is greater than 10, then it will stop this repeat, right? So let's see. Repeat until means until a greater than, value of a is greater, until it becomes 10, greater than 10, it will repeat this block inside this repeat until, right? So what will happen? The same thing will happen. Till stop after it becomes 11, right? Here you can see the variable, where the value of variable is changing, right? When it becomes 11, 11 means a greater than 10 means 11 is greater than 10, then this block will repeat until it stop, right? So this final value of a is 11. Again, you can see 1, 2, 3. Likewise, you can check the value of 5. It is changing. How it is changing? I have used this change block, change a by 1. That means add 1 to the value of a. Final value of a variable is 11. Then this condition is true. Therefore, it will stop this repetition because this condition is true. That is repeat until block. Repeat until block. Right? Then I can use this forever block, right? Forever block. What will happen? Instead of repeat until, I will use this uh, forever here. and use this block here, right? What will happen? It will repeat again and again forever until I stop this forcefully, right? So what will happen is it will not stop from 10 or any other number because it will go forever. It will counting forever. So therefore, until I forcefully stop this one, it will repeat it again and again, right? Wait for 1 second. It will go forever, right? That is the uh, forever block. So we can use three kind of blocks in Scratch to represent repetition. That means repeat, and we can specify number of times repeat, then repeat until. In repeat until, we can specify condition until this condition is satisfied, right? It will repeat the content, then repeat forever, right? It will repeat forever until we stop the program forcefully, right? Right, students. Do those things again in your Scratch and uh, see what is happening. Try by yourself and try to understand the way it is working in Scratch, right? So we learned that how to represent selection in Scratch, how to represent repetition in Scratch. There are three ways to represent repetition. What? Repeat, and we can specify number of times. Repeat until we can give a condition, and forever, right? Those are the things. Up to now, is there any questions? Any difficult areas?
No, sir.
Right, good.
No,
No, hurry. Right, we will do some other examples from repetition, and we are going to do it in Scratch as well, right? By next week, and we will do some questions as well before your term test. I think next month 20 after 21 term test in.
29.
Yes, 29, right. Okay. Right. Then if you don't have any questions, we can stop class and we'll meet on next Sunday. Right? Okay. Goodbye. Have a nice week.
Goodbye.